Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you, and Gretchen Bleiler on the line with us, a two-time Olympian, silver medalist, five-time X Games medalist, 4 golds, spokesperson for Protect Our Winters, protectourwinters.org, of course, the website. Gretchen, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
Thanks for joining us. Protect Our Winters? Explain.
Protect Our Winters. Well, this is an amazing organization that is basically bringing together the entire winter sports community to affect change and specifically policy around climate change. I've been lucky enough I sit on the board of directors for POW and have gotten to go to Capitol Hill with POW now for 2 different times, basically to support Obama's climate action plan and support the EPA and regulating our carbon emissions, because this is one of the biggest ways we're going to get things done around here.
Yeah. Now, in business, the first law of modern business, it seems, at least in the United States, is internalize profits, externalize losses or expenses. And these expenses that get dumped on the public, that get dumped on other people, they're referred to in business and in science as externalities. And so the externalities associated with burning fossil fuels are things like the cancers that people get from burning, people burning gasoline and diesel fuel, asthmas, other diseases of that type from downwind from refineries, as well as from highways and cars and trucks. And then the biggest one, the one that you're talking about here, is global climate change, which is producing superstorms and changing. In fact, this temperature gradient between the mid latitudes and the Arctic has dropped so much that we no longer have a barrier of air that's keeping the jet stream way up to the north, and so the entire United States is now getting weather that used to be limited to Canada. All of these things are the externalities of burning fossil fuels, and yet the fossil fuel industry not only does not pay a penny for any of this, but we pay for the United States Navy to protect the shipping lanes so that ExxonMobil and BP and all these other companies can bring fossil fuel products to us from the Middle East. We pay for the cost of dealing with repaired land when it's had fracking fluids injected into it. We pay for the cleanup from the oil spills. Isn't it time for us collectively to say that the fossil fuel industry is the only industry in America that doesn't pay to take out its trash? I mean, even on the radio show, we have to pay to take out our trash. They don't pay to take out their trash. In fact, we do. Isn't it time for like a carbon tax to say, it wouldn't even be a tax, a fee, that just recovers the cost of these externalities?
Yeah, I mean, it's horrible, and it seems so common sense what we need to do, but it's big money. Mm-hmm. And that's why we, as the winter sports community, we have a lot of say in this, because not only is climate change affecting, for me, the sport that I love and my livelihood, since I am a professional snowboarder, I need snow to be able to do what I do, but it trickles down into our mountain communities. And the winter sports community, there are 23 million people in this winter sports community and 212,000 tourist-dependent jobs in these communities. So, everyone talks about, shutting down the carbon emissions for our power plants is we're going to lose jobs. Well, we're losing jobs all the time in these mountain communities, and that's what we want to talk about. And because we're seeing it firsthand.
And that's the top of the mountain. I mean, if you go into Bolivia or any the countries along the Andes, if you go into communities at the foothills of the Himalayas. What you are seeing now is that rivers that used to run really, really heavy are starting to run really, really light, and in some places, the water is drying up, and the consequence of that is that people are not able to grow crops. I mean, we're seeing among some of the very poorest people in the world some real dangerous stuff as a result of the loss of these snowpacks and the melting of the glaciers that historically fed these rivers.
Exactly. It's not just about snow, but when the snow melts so many people depend on the snowmelt for drinking water. And then after a dry winter, you've got drought, you've got forest fires. We're seeing a lot of the pine bark beetle devastation in Colorado. I mean, it's a chain event, a chain reaction.
Porter Fox has a piece in the New York Times, February 7th. What would that have been? A few days ago. It titled "The End of Snow." And Porter, I'm assuming this is a he writes, the situation led the climatologist Daniel Scott, a professor of global change and tourism at the University of Waterloo in Ontario, to analyze potential venues for future winter games. And he says he's looking at a 7-degree Fahrenheit increase in global temperatures. It'd be about 4 degrees Celsius by the end of the century. He said out of the 19 cities that have hosted Winter Olympics, as few as 10 might be cold enough by mid-century to host them, and by 2100, it only becomes 6 out of 19 cities. This, you can look at this as a sports disaster, but it's a symptom of a much larger one, is it not?
Yeah, it is. It's shocking to see that and hear that. But for me, as a pro snowboarder, I mean, I'm absolutely seeing it. I'm fortunate to be able to travel around the world year-round chasing snow, and I've been doing that for the past 13 years, and we're seeing changes all over the globe. And, sort of jokingly during the Vancouver Olympics, we said, wow, we're not going to be able to have a Winter Olympics anymore. We're all going to have to just go up to the North Pole. There won't be any options, but it's really looking like a reality. And then you're seeing Sochi, you're seeing all of the news around Sochi with, for example, the half pipe. There's been lots of complaints that the half pipe is just not up to par, and it's a lot because of the temperatures. It didn't help that they chose a subtropic location to host the Winter Olympics, but right now, this day and age with climate change, you definitely don't want to choose a climate like that to host the biggest winter, sporting event, in the world. Right.
But even if you went to the Arctic right now, the Arctic Ocean last summer was losing ice at the rate of an area half the size of the state of Kansas every single day. It's unprecedented.
It is.
So,
it is.
On the other hand, in Antarctica, it has become warm enough that snow is falling more aggressively, and so they're adding snow. Maybe we should move the Olympics to McMurdo Station. I don't know. It's Patagonia, the southern tip of Chile. It's a tough one. So basically, what you're doing is you're bringing together athletes around the world, high-profile people who can wake people up to the fact that global warming is real with protectourwinters.org, your POW organization, which is really great. I mean, using the power of celebrity, using the power of sports to wake up people who might not be paying attention to science. I think it's really important.
Yeah, and we're not climate scientists. But we're athletes who are seeing it firsthand every single day in what we do. And actually, just today, Protect Our Winters, along with 105 Olympians, released a statement calling on world leaders to take action on climate change and basically prepare a commitment to work on this. And it's pretty cool. You can check out this statement on protectourwinters.org. But it's great to see Olympians coming together. It's great to see the winter sports community coming together, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take all of us coming together to demand change.
Amen. Well done. Gretchen, I salute you. Thank you.
Thank you, Thom.
And keep up the great competitions. Gretchen Bleiler, two-time Olympian, silver medalist, 5-time X Games medalist, 4 gold, spokesperson for Protect Our Winters. ProtectOurWinters.org is the website. Check it out.